Welcome to Smart in the City, the Babel podcast. I am your host, Tamlin Shimizu, and really at Babel, we aim to connect the players in the smart city industry with high quality information and ideas through our platform and services. This podcast is really an extension of this goal and mission to drive the change for a better urban life. First, a quick announcement from Babel. We are delighted to announce a new interactive online training course, Smarter Connected Places, Experiential Learning for Tomorrow's Urban Leaders. You can find the link for more information and how to register in the show notes. The training starts on November 15th, so make sure not to miss it. Now on to our regular programming. So this episode is, I know, going to be very near and dear to many of my colleagues and our partners' hearts because we are speaking with two of our project partners from our EU-funded project called Sparks. So with me today is none other than Merja Honkanen, who is a project manager at KONE. And also with me today is Elina Vane, who is the project manager for the aforementioned H2020 project, Sparks, at the city of Espoo in Finland. So welcome to you both. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Good. So we'll jump right into it because I'm really interested. So we're not just talking about Sparks today. We're really talking about a lot of really awesome topics. I don't want to give too much away at the beginning, but so I guess it would help the listeners to know a little bit about both of your backgrounds. Elina, maybe you can start. Can you give a little bit of background into your role and what you do for Espoo?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Elina Vane and I work as a development manager is the official one, but then of course for Sparks I work as project manager. I'm leading the whole work package for the work of Espoo. So it's City of Espoo with plenty of partners, and of course KONE with Merja is one of our very important partners making this project successful. But yes, previously before Sparks, I actually joined City of Espoo only 4.5 years ago to become sustainable development planner. And that's where it all started. Then we started applying it. And then my boss asked me if I would like to join. And yes, this is the road. Very happy road, I must admit.
Yeah, it sounds like a lovely road. So, Merja, what about you? How did you come into your role and what do you do within Sparks and also otherwise?
So I'm working at KONE Technology and Innovation Department in our innovation unit, where we actually do work with new innovations, new ideas, new early conceptual solutions, but also do research and future foresight on new topics like urbanization, sustainability, and so on. And Sparks is one of our biggest EU-funded projects, which we are involved in as a corporate partner. And my role in Sparks has been to lead the tasks of community engagement and also business model work in collaboration with all the partners in Espoo and also all the engaged stakeholders that we have invited in the project and engaged throughout the Sparks process. And on top of that, I work as a project manager for our quite large R&D innovation program called The Flow of Urban Life, where we actually develop new solutions for the next billion people to move into cities by 2030. So it's a very big innovation program that we initiated a few years ago. So working very much on this smart city, urban flow context at KONE.
Yeah, exciting things. So I want to also dive in a minute, but first I'd like to do a little teaser to get us warmed up. And I would like you both to think, Elina, on your side in Espoo, what if Espoo were an animal, which animal would Espoo be? And also on your side, Merja, for KONE, what animal would KONE be?
Give us a minute.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. You can also discuss between you two.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Yes, sure.
So if Espoo was an animal,
yes,
I would say it would be a very large one.
Indeed, and rapidly growing. What kind of animal is rapidly growing? Since that's something that I'd like to emphasize at this point. It's really, our city is growing so fast at the moment. That's one big challenge for us, to be sustainable and smart at the same time. It's complicated, but yes. But also, of course, agile. Yes, that's what we are. Mm-hmm.
Maybe then some kind of young animal, so that one that is growing up quickly. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, some sort of young, what is it, zebra or and mikä on hirvi, siis a moose or something like that.
A moose, that's fitting, right?
quite like comes from the countryside, but it's becoming more urban animal in a way.
That's a good one. A young moose.
A young
growing
moose
up,
learning to run and
survive. Yes, in a way.
Yeah,
that's nice,
yeah, that's good. We're going with young moose for Espoo then. Yeah, a final answer. Okay, good. Merja, did you think of something for KONE though?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. But I was the first animal that came to my mind was an octopus. So with a lot of these
arms, yeah.
Yes, and because we're a global corporation, we operate in almost every part of the world. So we extend to many continents, but also we try to move with the current change, also kind of agile, to go to different places and also extend to different new branches and new offerings. For instance, the digitalization and the use of data and so on. So I think an octopus could be a good one.
Perfect. It's also a popular one that we sometimes play this game of which animal would you be for, warming up for different workshops and things like that. And that's a popular answer.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's a good one because octopus are very smart and agile and have many arms. So
yes, and we are popular all over the world. We are known. People recognize the KONE elevators in Espoo.
There you go, KONE the octopus.
Yes,
your new marketing. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. I will send it to our communications team.
Perfect. Good.
I will have to speak with Mr. Mayor about this young moose because he knows that I do the hunting thing. So he thinks that I thought about it first, but it was Merja, you who said it first.
There you go. Now I want to move on to a very important topic and also something near and dear to our hearts at Babel. And the topic is co-creation. So what does this word mean to you, Merja? And then maybe you can go next, Elina.
Co-creation is actually something that is very close to my heart, like personally and also professionally. I did my studies, and I've also done previously masters and also a PhD on co-creation and participatory design. So what does it mean to engage a number of different stakeholders into co-creation processes? And for me, it has always been some sort of a starting line of all the work that we do and all the development that we should aim at as a society is to do it collaboratively. So I think co-creation is the key to everything we do. But also at KONE, co-creation with customers is something that we have also taken as a strategy to really focus on co-created solutions rather than making solutions for our customers or the rest of the world. We want to co-create them and actually meet the needs of the customers. In Sparks, this has also meant that we take the end users into these processes and co-create together with citizens and end users, not just customers, like company customers or that kind of partners.
Yeah, co-creating on the full process, the full line. So, Elina, did you have any thoughts on really what the heart of co-creation is at a high level?
I have to emphasize that I have very similar thoughts with Merja, since for me co-creation is very close to heart. It's the way really to, if you want to develop things, do it in that way that you really get everyone to participate and have a say. It's not really for the city. It's a bit different because the city itself has some legal processes where we have to take different stakeholders, but it's still it's kind of the minimum. And in Espoo, we really want to do something more, and we've been working on this, especially with the area of Kera, which is also one of the demonstration areas in Sparks. We've been developing this co-creation model. We've been trying to put it also on paper, what it means when the city wants to co-create, for example, a district in the city. And in this work, we have the companies, we have the research and educational institutes, we have the NGOs, but of course we have the citizens, the residents of the city. And that's really how we try to bring them all together, not at once, but with different stages, so that everyone knows what's going on and what is the aim, what are we trying to develop. But of course, in the changing world, it's not an easy task, but it's really something that we at Espoo really want to go towards to. And actually, what our Mr. Mayor really, how he says it, it's something like, when we do things together, we are successful. So I always like to say that phrase because I really enjoy that. In such a high level, we recognize the doing together, co-creation as a really important way of working.
Yeah, I definitely echo that as well. Can you dig in now? Can we dig in a bit deeper? So we spoke a bit on a high level of co-creation, but how do we actually apply this in practice? How can we frame it? Whoever wants to answer first.
Maybe from the city point of view, I can continue a bit, since of course we have some residents or citizens that are very, very active, and they are always giving feedback and participating. But then we have plenty of those who never say anything, and we would really now need to look at how we can activate those who very seldom participate in any way. Find those ways to more equally engage kind of different citizen groups instead of only those active ones.
Yeah, good point. Merja, what do you think?
Well, when I think about co-creation, I always, people usually tend to think about co-creation as a something where only kind of positive outcomes or co-created solutions come out, which everybody agrees upon. And I would say that my experience also shows that co-creation is something where different stakeholders have a different stake on something. So it's also about debating and finding solutions, having a dialogue on these important topics, and trying to find some sort of, not maybe ideal solution or solution that fits to all, but more like this round table of different perspectives that we can then come together to co-create on. So I think it's very crucial part of co-creation that we have different stakes, and we give space for different perspectives to coexist, rather than say, okay, this is the solution that we all agree on. But we try to find this space and create this space to debate and have a dialogue and also change through that way, rather than finding the best possible idea. But having said that, I would also like to emphasize that co-creation, there are a lot of processes and a lot of methods and tools that we can apply and that we can learn from and utilize in co-creation processes. And for instance, in the Sparks project, KONE has been leaning very much on design thinking and also design research that is an iterative process. So we engage different stakeholders in different phases of the process, and several times we can go back to these people and back to these stakeholders and really do this iteratively by utilizing different methods and tools, innovation methods and tools, rather than just say, okay, let's co-create. But it's actually quite a systematic process in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elina, maybe how do you see it from the city perspective? What tools and resources can the city utilize to support these processes?
So this is now something that we've been working in Sparks, really putting on paper what kind of model would support smart and sustainable city development, and especially kind of district level. We're not going to develop the whole city at the same time. Of course, we do it by district by district. But yes, we are now creating a toolbox for that. And it's, of course, I see it as a toolbox, not just for the civil servants, the city workers or employees. It's more like a toolbox for everyone, also for the citizens, because one actually challenge is, and what we get questions a lot, both from residents and from companies, is that when their ideas or solutions should kind of be brought to the process. When is the time that, for example, energy solutions for a district are decided, or when is the time for the community, for example, parks planning, when it's done, when is the time that the residents can have their say? So usually the process is so long, and it's a bit complicated as well if you think about the land use planning process, that not everyone, or should I say very seldom, anyone knows exactly when is the right time to have an effect on something. And that's what we are now trying to make more visible to everyone, so that we would all be on the same line. What's going on, and when, and how I can, as a company representative or as a resident, have my say or bring my solution or whatever. Yeah. But really just to creating kind of step-by-step manual for that, this is how it all starts, and this is what is decided here, and this is what happens here. To make it more, understandable.
Yeah, and off of that, with citizen engagement, stakeholder engagement, any of the topics we were speaking about, do you have advice to give other cities who are really focusing a lot on developing these co-creation methodologies?
I think one very key learning, a bit not from the co-creation, but really how to reach actually the residents, is to go where they already are, go to the groups that already exist, not to try to create new ones without good background work, because it's much easier to reach out to citizens when they have already some kind of reason why they are gathered together, and when there is a kind of group already. Because sometimes city organized events are really not that popular, and they are not reaching out, especially to those who are not usually interested in what the city does. So go where the citizens are.
I think that's a very good advice from Elina, and also the kind of not thinking about individual citizens, but rather think about communities.
Yes.
Where do people form already existing communities, and where do they meet, and what are the relations between these people that already exist, and try to really draw on those relationships.
Yeah, very good points. And do either of you have a story? I love story time on the podcast. So do either of you have a story when co-creation, citizen engagement, stakeholder engagement, anything along these lines, when it went wrong? Some kind of lesson learned from it?
Well, one story comes to my mind, at least. Because in a way it's both a success story and also a challenge story. We were organizing in Sparks these 1.5 degree workshops where we invited citizens to play a climate puzzle, which is a design game developed by DMAT, environmental consultancy. And we had started the preparations for the workshops, and we were living this COVID time that we are all very familiar with. And the first premise was that we would organize the workshop online and have a remote workshop where we send these games to the citizens who want to participate and facilitate the game playing session online. And the purpose of the workshop was to kind of identify first your own household's behavior, your lifestyle choices. How do you live? How do you move? How do you eat? And what kind of leisure time activities you do. And based on that, you get a calculation of your household's climate footprint. And then the next step in the game is that you get these different kind of actions cards on the game board, where you can then start to discuss which actions you could take as a citizen, which kind of changes you could make on a long run until 2030 to reduce your carbon footprint of the household. And we thought, okay, you can do it either way. You can play it, and you also play it at home and then remotely join this session. And at the end of the day, we had to cancel this workshop because there were not really many participants who wished to join this session, even though the topic was very interesting. And we actually went to libraries to meet with people and tried to get people on board. We got only a handful of participants and realized that this doesn't really make sense because it is actually a game which is supposed to be played in bigger like auditoriums, and you can have a conversation around it and so on. So I think that was for us a very good learning on that, you can't just switch, or not everything works kind of in the way that it's supposed to be. If we have to do these big changes from physical environment to remote environments, and then we should really think differently about the ways we engage with citizens if we do online engagement or this kind of digital engagement. And then afterwards, we kept on organizing the workshop, and the COVID restrictions became they were removed, so we could actually do it live physically at two schools in Espoo, and we really got a very nice number of participants, and we also used a different kind of recruitment strategy to get them involved. But it was something that they, I would say that they really wished to join to this event and have this conversation and understand what it is and what does kind of impact one person or your household make for the bigger whole, and have those conversations in a shared space.
Good example. Very nice story. Elina, do you have a story as well?
Yes, maybe just a general point that after COVID-19, it's been really, our residents are very slowly getting back to kind of joining us at face-to-face events. It's really, it's somehow that people have realized that you can do so many things online, and maybe their daily schedule is now so that there is no time for this kind of, because it takes time to travel there, it takes time to be there, and then it takes time to go home. And yes, it may be difficult to get there. And yes, it's something, slowly the numbers are now rising. But like, for example, last spring, we really recognized this as a problem. We had events which were hybrid. We had pretty well participants, but then we have some workshops we were trying to do only face to face. And a number of participants was really low, despite the very, very, should I say, large efforts for marketing. And really, we were really using all the city resources and what's the word for that? But anyway, different ways to communicate, and we still couldn't reach out. So yes, maybe, but this is probably something that if we ever get rid of COVID-19, then or similar things, then maybe we get back to some kind of normal again. But people are not interested in meeting face to face.
Yeah, I've heard that also from other conversations I've had, this struggle during COVID, also in this kind of post-COVID phase, however you want to call it, on the struggle of getting people back engaged in person. Can you... I want to give you some time because I know you both are very passionate about this topic. And I want to give you both a little bit of time on the floor to speak about anything that you feel like we didn't touch on yet. Anything that you really want listeners to know about any topic, really. So I give you an open floor if you would like it. Either one can start.
Okay, Elina, do you wanna go first, or?
No, you can go first. I can still give it a little thought.
You can both give it a thought if you'd like.
Yeah. One thing that kind of comes to my mind when I think about engagement and participation, like now I'm really sticking with this topic and co-creation. It's quite different processes when we engage with citizens, with end users, than when we do kind of engagement or co-creation with businesses and with public organizations and so on. And if I just kind of reflect on our experiences from KONE Innovation Unit, it's a different path to go to when we do, like, for instance, business design, and we really invite different business stakeholders to co-create and think about not just for instance a solution, new technological possibility, but the business possibility, and think about, well, how this could become something that is actually profitable, or that has a long-term kind of long-term investment that we could all engage in, or we could all trust on that this will bring some benefits. So when we are considering these different stakeholders, I think it's also very different processes and different methods and ways of working that we have to use when we engage citizens, or when we engage business stakeholders, or even public organizations. They operate in a completely different way than companies. So this is something that we have to constantly kind of bear in mind, and fit the tools and the methods to the stakeholders and the kind of focus groups that we want to reach and we want to bring into the process. And then also something that I think becomes so vivid in the work with citizens is that they don't necessarily want to engage. We have this expectation that, of course, if we just organize something and they are happy to come, but it's not often the way. So there are different kind of dynamics between these different stakeholders. So it's something that we should always bear in mind, that we can't just expect that whatever topic we want to co-create upon, people are just eager to join and give their ideas and opinions about the topic. It's actually quite laborious work to get people engaged and build those relationships with different stakeholders.
Yeah, definitely. Good point on the last to throw in the building relationships. I think to get people engaged, we have to focus on the relationship building always. And Elina, did you want to say anything else?
Yeah, sure. I was earlier mentioning that Espoo is growing rapidly, and we see that as a very it's a challenge, but in a way it's not impossible to fight that challenge. We have 5,000 to 6,000 new residents every year currently, and actually most of them are foreigners, and that brings us to the question that how we can engage those together with the kind of our residents who speak Finnish or Swedish as their mother tongue, how we can engage those with the new foreigners that are joining our city, and what are kind of the ways that we could activate and feel also these newcomers as welcome to our city, and yes, how we really can engage those as well. And then, of course, it's also about inclusion. It's about feeling part of a community. These are questions and challenges that are everywhere in Europe and actually globally. It's not something that Espoo alone can really solve. But one way that we have now looked at it is actually coming from the European Commission's initiative, New European Bauhaus, as it combines the sustainability, which of course we at the Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development want to promote, but it combines it with the more social sustainability from the point of inclusion, but also to the another very important issue, which we have discussed with Merja earlier. It's about building cities and urban environments that are beautiful and feel comfortable for people to live in. So that's why I see from the old 4-pillar sustainable development kind of framework that we've been working with so long, I see this new European Bauhaus as a new framework and providing us new aspects of building smart and sustainable cities in the future.
Great point. And what's next for your partnership between Espoo and KONE? I just kind of was thinking, we didn't touch at all really yet on this great partnership that you've built. What's next for you too?
From Espoo, City of Espoo point of view, I'd like to say that we are just looking forward to the next steps. We haven't. They are not quite clear yet, but of course, Sparks is still going strong for the next 2 years. So we will do collaboration anyway. But of course, Sparks is initiating new ideas and what should be the next steps. And of course, it's also about building engagement with companies and the city, and from that point of view, yes, hopefully something interesting and inspiring for us all.
Yes,
I'll be looking forward
definitely.
to that.
Can I also comment on that, because I think what Sparks has brought to KONE is this really like a perfect example of urban development and sustainable development. So it's a international project with many cities and many partners, where we can actually develop new sustainable solutions to make cities more livable for people to thrive in the cities rather than suffer in the future. So this is something that is very essential also for KONE, where we want to create better urban flow or improve the flow of urban life. So this cannot be done on our own. This has to be made in collaboration with cities and with different partners. And in that sense, I think there's always interesting possibilities. And KONE is also based in Espoo. So we have our big headquarters in Keilaniemi in Espoo. So this brings us also good kind of a platform and locates us in Espoo, so we can do quite easily different kind of pilots and case studies with partners in Espoo. So that's definitely something we will work on in the future.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing all the developments in that. And now we move on to a segment of ours. It is called Shoutout. Shoutout. Mention a person, an organization, or a city you think deserves more recognition in the field. This could be a Sparks partner, or it could be anyone else that you want to mention. Merja, do you have someone that immediately came to mind?
Oh, wow. Maybe Elina, if you can start, you have something on your mind. So what is this shout out? You want to kind of recognize a person or an
organization or a city who you, maybe a partner of yours, who you really think that people should know about and deserve more recognition. And of course, we'll tag them and all of that good stuff.
This is a difficult one.
Yes. I mean, there are so many, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Maybe then it's not from Sparks, but from Espoo point of view, we have learned from Mannheim what they've been doing, especially regarding citizen engagement. And we have some collaboration with them, but I've been myself really amazed with their work. They've been doing good work there. So it's Mannheim, Germany is my answer.
Ah, very nice. Not too far from where I'm sitting today, just an hour or so north. So good one. Merja, did you have someone that came to mind now?
Yeah, I have also several, but one I definitely want to also mention is that we have in Finland, we have this funding institution called Business Finland, who is really kind of pushing companies and organizations to develop new solutions for more sustainable cities, but also to take these solutions out in the world and take them more kind of on an international level. So I would say Business Finland is an organization that is not so highly recognized abroad, but it's very well known in Finland, and it's something that also KONE is getting funding from in our biggest one of the biggest R&D programs, and they have launched this Veturi program, which is kind of like a leading company R&D innovation program, where actually bigger corporations can set up these industrial development projects or even programs and bring different partners to their ecosystem to kind of make that mission happen collaboratively. And KONE, we have our own mission, but there are also several Finnish companies who have their own mission related to energy, related to sustainability, related to city development, and so on. So I would maybe recognize Business Finland in this occasion.
Good point, and good recognition. So now we're pretty much ending most of our questions. I only have one remaining question for you, and it is a question that we ask every single guest, and that is, to you, what is a smart city? Perhaps Elina, you can go first this time, and then Merja.
Sure. Despite of my background in engineering, I somehow nowadays prefer to describe a smart city as built for people, by people. And really it's about creating, like Merja said earlier, livable space. And it's more like about the people than the technology, in my point of view. We need the technology, of course, to support that. But if the people are not pro and with when you develop it, it won't work. You need the people to make the technology work. And that's where the smart city. And then, of course, for me, smart city means also sustainable city. I sometimes tend to say smart and sustainable city, but if I'm just talking about smart city, it's included. It's also sustainable. It's not smart. It's not smart to be unsustainable, or did I say it correct? Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, the people make the smart city. That's mine.
Yeah. Good answer. Merja, do you have a similar thought, or do you want to go in a different?
Yeah, I think very, very good one. It's not smart to be unsustainable. So going to the same direction, I would say that smart cities are cities or urban environments that are co-created among private, public, and people partnerships. So this kind of a triangle of different organizations and different partners who create that smart city. It cannot be smart if it doesn't engage and include everyone. And then also the important aspect is, yes, sustainability, and that is from a very kind of environmental point of view, that the solutions in smart city rather decrease carbon emissions rather than increase. And also these solutions and smart cities, they are also socially sustainable, so people can live livable, lovable cities. So something where there's space for people and space for life, rather than blocks where you enter, and really these dense cities might not be the way we want to live for the next 10 years, or even beyond that. It should have space for people to live. And then maybe a fourth aspect, or I lost the count, is the use of data and the use of kind of new technologies, but more importantly, what do we do with this kind of huge amount of data that we can nowadays get from the different systems that work in the cities. A lot of companies talk about big data, cities talk about big data, but it's not something that we can just utilize. We have to also learn to use it and kind of build the capabilities to learn from that data and utilize that data in a smart way. So I think these are the building blocks of smart cities.
Very well put and very eloquent on both of your accounts. And this is where I have to tell the guests that if you want more information also about Sparks, please follow the link in the show notes or enter Sparks SPARCS.info to find out more about the project. And yeah, this is it. Hopefully it wasn't too painful for you. Hopefully it was smooth sailing. And I really want to thank you both very sincerely for your great insights, a great conversation, great dialogue. And I'm very glad that Babel can also be a partner with both of yours in the project, and I hope also in the future too. So yeah, thank you both for coming on.
Thank you, Tamling. Thank you for hosting the podcast, and thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Anytime. And to all of our listeners, don't forget you can always create a free account on babel-smartcities.eu to find out more about smart city projects like the Sparks project, solutions, and implementations. Thank you all for listening. I'll see you at the next stop on the journey to a better urban life. How cold is it over there right now?
In Espoo, yeah, I think it's 10 degrees.
Ooh, that's warm.